Hello guys, I changed my location, but I wanted to address a couple of things in terms of why I have stopped, or rather I don't necessarily like doing what I eat in a day. There's a couple of reasons why, but I will start with my personal reasons, and then I'll go to why philosophically I think that we shouldn't be doing them. The personal reason why is because my days sometimes don't look very well in terms of I struggle with overeating sometimes, and while that is a shame thing to myself, and I do move on and I do have strategies, I find that I don't want to show someone the excessive amount of food that I have, and then have that be okay, if you know what I mean. And then I do never eat in terms of the next day. I don't starve myself or anything like that. I go back to the routine, which is 1,800 to 2,000 calories on average. But it could be 18 or 17 or 2,000 or 2,100. That scrutiny in terms of the next day I could go 2,100 because I'm starving, because sometimes when you overeat, there's 3 days when you gotta level up. I don't know, you just get hungry for 3-4 days. I think that can be portrayed in a way that it just doesn't it doesn't portray to someone that should be the way to do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but now I do a lot of volume eating, which I think that's where that I have a personal problem is, because while I can do like a salad full of lettuce and in a breast of chicken, and then it can have I just don't want it to be misconstrued in terms of that's the amount of volume that you should be consuming, because this is the thing. I'm currently working on the fact that I want to not be doing that in terms of when I'm hungry. I am working currently on observing portion sizes, and instead of doing the whole tub of salad, to do half, and then if I'm hungry again, then I'll eat the rest and things like that. Not because I'm actually looking at the calories. It's actually more for me in terms of what I need to, or rather, I am hoping that at some point my body and my brain are aligned in terms of how intuitive I'm using the way I eat. And I think that putting that in a video or a short video and just putting it just in one day, it doesn't bode well for me nor for you. Does that make sense? Because you could be seeing that I'm having only half a salad when you don't know the context of or rather I haven't really even explained. It's too short. I would have to go into a discourse, and here we are, like I'm going now, right? So that's why I don't think that it's really useful to do that from the personal level. Now, let's look at it from the other lens. From the lens of the perspective of why should we all not engage in what I eat in a day, is because I think that it can be misconstrued into I ate this today and I eat this every day. And that is problematic. Now, I have seen a couple of people that, for example, they do volume eating, but they do volume eating in a way that, for example, it's all lettuce, cucumbers, and celery and carrots, and they eat that tub, but there's no protein and there's no fats, and which we do need, and they eat that all the time. And like, there's one YouTuber who says, I eat more than most men, as a flex. And to be honest with you, while I'm not the boss of ED with EDs, to be honest with you, I find that problematic, especially when it comes to children. And if they're seeing that, they think you having volumes of food, of vegetables should be enough, when no, absolutely not. It creates bigger problems. You do need protein, you do need carbs, you do need fats, and you need to eat them. I understand that some people do keto and things like that, but that's another conversation that I'm not comfortable having today, because the truth of the matter is that it just having one days specifically become problematic for that very reason. Now, there's your other camp where you see people eating so much, especially foods that are not everyday foods, and they still really thin, and then you're wondering, how is it that they eat it? It's all mirages and angles. Because at the end of the day, their bodies do not work any different than yours. That was one thing that I was not aware when I was a kid. I thought, oh, lucky. And that is absolutely a mirage. If they're doing that, if they're eating volumes of food one day, which are highly caloric, highly processed, somewhere they're not eating. And that is also problematic. So that's why because some days I do have my fallbacks, because again, this is a process, like I said last week, I struggle with showing that as an aspect of how we should interact with food. Once I don't know that I'll ever do it. Unless I have if I can find a clever way to show you what I eat in a day with all the provisos that I need to have. Like, for example, this is a day after binging, but you see that I do eat, or that what I worry about is that that people will think that that's that I eat that like that every day, which it doesn't serve anybody, because it's not. It's a process. I've been obese since I was a child. There's no way I'm going to all of a sudden gain some insight into So anyway, so to sum up, I think that the one-dimensional portrayal of what I eat in a day is very problematic, because it just doesn't capture how people feed their bodies. And when it comes to weight loss, I think that people use different unique individual strategies to keep their weight how they are. Some of them might be some of them might be issues that we need to address, and others might not. For me, I use a lot of the Peruvian things. This is my son's, but I use Peruvian cuisine because that brings me comfort. And what I do is I eat it in a way that like that would add vegetables, and maybe not as much as like, for example, oil or I will use chicken instead of beef, but I do use that as strategies. In terms of other people, I think that each individual, part of the weight loss is that responsibility. If you're finding out what it is that you like to eat, to use it as fuel versus using it to enjoy, right? Because there's plenty of time that you can go to restaurants or not and just enjoy what you enjoy, pizza or whatever, but it doesn't have to be an everyday food. In the interim, you can find things, low calorie things that you enjoy and just use them. So that's where I worry, is the fact that people are gonna see the volume sometimes of the salads I have, and they're gonna think that that's what what maybe normal people eat, which I truly don't think that people can they can down that much food, to be honest. So that's what I'm working on, and that's why, from the vulnerable perspective, I don't feel comfortable doing what I eat in a day. And if you noticed, I also don't do I have tried a little bit to do cooking here and there, but again, not that comfortable with it, for this whole reason that right now, unless I understand where it's going to be useful, then I might do it, but overall, nah. Not until I have a above level insight into how people should be eating and feeding their bodies. I don't. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. And thank you so much.